It's the Sonic Subversion Show. It's 5 o'clock, and you're listening to Radio Valencia. I am Brian Cox, and we have a number of people in the studio. We have a party going on out there, and people are getting weird and getting loose, and there's all kinds of things. Yeah. See, any noise out to come out of that? Oh, no.
Get things all fine-tuned here.
Yeah, all right. Anyway, most importantly, at the top of the hour here, we are here to interview Charles Webb. Charles, how you doing?
Doing good, Brian. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing really good. We're having one of our typical nights here at Sonic Subversion, where it always is a place where chaos reigns. So you've got some guests with you, too. Would you like to introduce them?
Yes, we have two guests. We have Juicy and Cali, California, who are entertainers at the Market Street Cinema. And we're also in the film.
Yes, I saw the film the other night, and I recognize both of you from it. So first of all, let's get those basic facts out there. The film opens in the Another Hole in the Head Film Festival. Is that December 5th?
That's right. It's December 5th at 9 o'clock. It's the world premiere. It's followed by an after party. The entire audience is invited to the after party. We'll have a couple of zombie strippers handing out tickets to the after party there in the lobby, and the after party is at the Penthouse Club on Broadway in San Francisco.
Beautiful.
412 Broadway.
We like that. You see, that when I read about that party, that was sort of the impetus for this little party. It's like, oh, that's how he's doing his world premiere of the film in San Francisco. It's like, well, let's have a party atmosphere in here at Sonic Subversion. So, yeah, this film, man, that's a weird film.
Well, it is kind of a weird film. The G-String Horror is the title of the film, and it came about because we were planning on doing a horror film in that location, the Market Street Cinema, which is on Market down at the base of Jones in San Francisco. It's a huge old, 100-year-old, it's a 100-year anniversary this year, movie palace that was built by Sid Grauman, who built Grauman's Chinese Theater in L.A., and part of it now is being used. It's like a gentleman's club has been built inside of it. So there's a strip club built inside of the old movie palace. But the balcony, the old projection booth, the basements, sub-basements, tunnels, and all of that, all around that fill the rest of the building are abandoned and not used, not open to the public. And they're just all sorts of strange stuff that goes on down there. So instead of doing a scripted horror film, I started talking to people and interviewing people, and there were so many stories that came out of it that we wound up doing what I call a docu-fiction. It's part documentary, and then we took off from there and spun some of the characters out of there, and then the fictitious characters started talking to the ghosts and all sorts of strange stuff.
Oh, wow. So the film started directing itself after some point. Yeah,
well, it did. I mean, I lost control of it. Well, what can I say?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not responsible.
No, nor am I responsible for the content of this show. I've lost control of it now. Who knows how this is going to turn out. So I understand you each of the three of you had actual paranormal experiences.
Right, they're both in the film, and they both had have seen things or whatever there in the theaters.
Well, what did you see?
Well, it's a lot of things that you feel. It's not that you see. Sometimes you're able to catch them, but you can definitely feel the energy,
presence.
Right, and it's just there. And it's more you respect them because it's theirs. That's their space. And I just go along with it, and I know they're there. They're there all the time.
It doesn't scare you
all the time. It doesn't anymore. I just be respectful towards the energy that is there because it's there.
Have you seen ghosts anywhere else, or just in that theater?
Well, I am from a third world country, El Salvador, so
Oh, I see. So the idea of the departed being separate from this is not okay.
Definitely. So it's not new.
Thank you for our brain pan for his engineering behind us. More of the microphones are on now. Dr. Sleepless is leaning in over. Do you have something to interject?
Yeah, I really would like to know. Would you please explain what is so impressive about having a pair of normal experiences?
Yes, Dr. Sleepless is always mincing his words quite literally. That's a pair of normal experiences. Well, but we don't have a guy to hit a snare drum.
There are a couple pairs in here, though.
Yeah. So
nice pairs.
Yeah. Okay, so see, already this interview is going off the rails and out of control. There's these people out there in the studio, and they're drinking and smoking.
Hello.
And we've got stuff going on quite frequently.
They might have brought some of the ghosts over here with them.
That we could probably use that. Now,
supposedly the theater's haunted by 4 ghosts.
4 ghosts, and who are these ghosts?
Two strippers, 1 janitor. There were people that actually died in the theater.
Yeah.
One janitor and then a customer, and the janitor and the customer like to sit in the front row and watch the girls early in the day, and then they turn around and disappear. But you guys can talk about that.
And there's always the missing girl that wants the last dance.
Oh, I
She
see.
always wants to go on stage.
Wow.
You see the curtains opening, and you could almost like vision her there.
Wow.
She's always there. It's the girl, I call her the girl that wants the last dance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, theaters, haunted theaters, 100-year-old theaters being haunted. I was telling Mr. Webb here earlier.
Charles,
yes.
Please.
Oh, we have respect for filmmakers.
Just because I look like an old...
Yeah. Well, I worked in the Clay Theater, another 100-year-old theater, 20 years ago, and that theater was haunted. So anyway, this G-string horror. What kind of... What do you call this type of? What type of film is that? It's sort of like a fictionalized documentary, a little bit of a documentary, a little bit of a mockumentary. I was watching it, and I had at various points like, what is this? What am I watching? What are they trying to do?
You're right. That's one thing that we've gotten. For people who are watching it, it's. Films about the paranormal and paranormal investigations are very popular these days, and so it's part paranormal documentary and part fictionalized, scripted, semi-scripted horror film. There are 2 actresses in it that have been in many other horror films. Deborah Lamb was in a whole bunch of horror films in the 80s, and Natasha Talens of Black Devil Doll infamy is also in it. So I brought some actresses in that had been in other horror films for the parts that were fictionalized.
Right.
The other part of the whole thing is that Deborah actually is a psychic.
Okay.
She's a practicing psychic, and
so she really is. That's not just the acting.
That's true. No, I originally met her because I was looking for a psychic to come in and do a reading of the theater.
Oh, okay.
So I brought her in to do a psychic reading, and then it segued into the fictionalized part. Hence the docu-fiction. You can't quite tell whether it's a real reading or whether it's something that we concocted.
Wow, man. Yeah, we have our own resident paranormalist, Aslan Moonbeam, is out there. He's doing some sort of a consciousness reading out there. Aslan, can you hear me out there? You're measuring the consciousness quotient, are you? Paying attention at all? No, not at all. No. Anyway, see, it's total chaos. We've lost control with the other room. They can't even hear us out there. And there's even a live mic on and everything. So, what are you going to do? It's that type of thing. The spirits are already taking control. So, yeah, this is the world premiere of your film, isn't it? Coming up in December 5th. This another Hole in the Head Film Festival, which started a couple days ago on the 28th and runs through... when does that run through? I don't have my thing on me.
Actually, the 28th is coming Wednesday.
Oh yes, it hasn't started yet. That's right. See, already we're bending time in here. Yeah, so the 28th through well into December and
December 9th.
December 9th. Very good. Of course, the man with the film in the festival knows those dates. A bunch of other good things to see there, and you can support the Roxy Theater while doing so. And a few other places, the Victoria, which seems like that place ought to be haunted, huh?
Yeah.
And then there's the Little Roxy, and then there's the Art Gallery Studio. A few different venues for the Another Hole in the Head Film Festival. So, let's see. Any other anecdotes about filming? What happened to you? Did you saw ghosts during filming this film?
Well,
or perceived their presence?
I had been familiar with the theater for a long time. I had been friends with the people that operated it, and I'd had some experiences years ago where I thought I was in the theater by myself, and someone called my name. But during the shooting of this film, the things that happened that were the most interesting were that it seemed to be a lot of psychic activity going on, and everybody had these stories. Everybody had seen something, and I'd like to hear from you guys a bit more in a second.
Yeah.
What happened with me on a couple of occasions is I was down in the underneath bowels of the theater in one of the tunnels with one of the dancers who is also a psychic, and she had an encounter down there with one of the dead janitors.
I see.
And I couldn't see the gentleman, but he was apparently there, and she made peace with him and this, that, and the other. And then after we were through shooting, she asked that I not include some of that footage in the film. She's a very private person, and that particular encounter kind of spooked her. So I got back home and I was looking at the tape, and that whole section, and the camera had been rolling the whole time. That whole section of the film was not there.
Oh, wow.
It was, and what I find is that, a lot of strange things happen when you get electronic gear in places that are supposed to be haunted or have psychic activity around.
Yeah.
So there's some other things like that, mostly having to do with the electronics. And, of course, the paranormal investigators utilize a lot of this electronic stuff with their sound recordings and separating the signal from the noise.
Right. And, EVPs, electronic voice phenomena.
Matter of fact, there's going to be an honest-to-God paranormal investigation of the theater in mid-December. Ghost Adventures is
right, I've seen that show.
Going to do an episode there.
Oh, beautiful.
I have a question. I want to know where those mannequins came from. Those really, well-endowed mannequins. Were those part of the theater, or are those your personal collection?
No, they came with the theater. We found them down in the basement. They're adult business mannequins. There are adult business mannequins, just like there are high fashion mannequins, and of course the high fashion mannequins are
they're a little more proportioned.
Right. Well, either that or they're completely flat.
Yeah,
and look like guys.
Like a real supermodel.
These are adult industry mannequins that are used in adult stores, or were used in adult stores to put costumes on, or stripper gear, or whatever. So
okay,
they were made specifically for that reason.
All right.
What are some other things you'd like to add?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Juicy and Callie talk a little bit. I've been talking a lot up to this point. They spend more time down there. Actually, have had some experiences.
Let's hear some paranormal stuff.
Am I going first?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's an apartment upstairs where I was staying for a couple days, and I was sleeping, and next thing you know, I felt like I couldn't move, like I was just stuck, like I couldn't move.
Wow.
And next thing you know, I see just the head of this girl, just the shape of the head, no body, no arms, no anything, just the head, and it was all cut up, and it was like bloody, and it almost sounds like I'm describing a movie that we all have watched before, but I'm telling you, I've seen this, and it was just unbelievable, and I couldn't move. And then the hair floated about maybe 4 or 5 times, and then it disappeared, and then I was able to move, and I never went back upstairs, and I will not go upstairs ever. I don't care if they pay me. I don't care if they beg me. I'm not going back upstairs.
Wow.
Don't blame you.
No way I'm going back upstairs. I respect whoever that was, whatever happened upstairs. It was serious. It was painful. Something happened. Something definitely happens, and I'm just not going back upstairs.
Wow.
Ever.
And how about you? You have another one?
Gary was a janitor, and
the janitor story.
Yeah, he didn't like me too well.
Oh.
I was more of the new age, and he died, unfortunately, but he's still in the bathroom.
Oh, I see.
Watches us. He's a freaking pervert.
Yeah, you might
get to stop. I keep telling him, get out of here.
Like that. Wow.
Let me wipe myself.
Oh my goodness.
Well, that could be partly because of the way he died in the basement.
Oh yeah, can you please tell us a story?
He had a heart attack. I'll do the short version. He had a heart attack over a long weekend. He was working as a handyman at the theater, and collapsed on the floor, and he was laying face down on the floor, and I guess he passed away, or he was about to. And a few hours later, there was a sump pump connected to the sewage system in the club that went out and overflowed, and the whole floor of the basement where Gary was laying was several inches deep in sewage. And so they didn't find him until several days later, after the sewage had drained out of the floor, and he was stuck to the floor, as if he was glued to the floor. They had to peel him off.
Soggy.
Wow. So, there could be possibly some connection with him hanging out in the bathroom.
They made a print on the floor, did he not?
Huh?
They made like a marking on the floor?
Right. It was like face down on the floor, so you could, for a time, I understand, you could see sort of an outline of the chest.
Which is depicted in the film.
I saw it.
Yeah. Right.
So, let's see, we're down into our last 7 minutes. Are there any other specific stories, Charles, you want to relate to stuff that happened while filming, or mention anything about the film?
Well, the other stories that are common in the theater, they haven't happened to Juicy or Callie, but that are in the film and told over and over, is that there seems to be one of the ghost strippers who's a trickster and pushes people down the stairs or pushes them on stage or whatever. There's also a very creepy story about one of the performers years ago that had a miscarriage in one of the bathrooms, and apparently you can still hear the baby crying.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, and you hear her crying too.
Yeah.
Her and the baby crying.
Wow.
When I heard that really gave me the willies.
Wow. This is all very weird.
Right.
Basically, a whole bunch of people have come in here into this episode of Sonic Subversion. They're telling weird stories, and they're making weird films.
And the
These are things you can go see. You can pay your hard-earned cash and go see this.
Right.
But yeah, go ahead.
Sorry,
please. No, you.
would think that is, people come up in there to have fun.
Yeah.
And you will never imagine the stories that is behind all this after hours.
Right.
And these are things that are every day. Like, we hear steps going up the stairs, we hear the water come on, the toilet flashes. Every day at the club is something. They're always there. That's where they live. They're going to live there. They've been there.
Wow.
And that's where they're going to stay.
That's far out. I don't really know what to say.
You make the best of it.
Yeah, we make the best of it, which is what we're doing
we party
here.
with them. We always pour out a little liquor and let them have fun.
I
Right.
see.
Yeah. We just got along now. If you can meet them, enjoy them. So, hey.
That's what we do here at Sonic Subversion.
They may be
in Radio
dead, but
Valencia
they're not
Studios.
gone.
Well, the janitor likes to sit in the front row and watch you guys on stage.
I know.
Yeah. Wow. Well, guys, this is great. This has been one of the most fun episodes of Sonic Subversion I've yet had. The party episode, our bizarre train wreck of a party episode, is coming into its last 5 minutes. And well, what else?
Come see the movie on December 5th at 9 at the Roxy, and come to the after party at Penthouse afterwards.
And then after you're done, Market Street Cinema. We're open till 5 in the morning.
Wow. That is super far out. Well, thank you so much for coming in, Charles Webb. We've got Kelly, California. And, oh my God, I'm forgetting... Juicy. I'm sorry. It's lots of information here, lots of stuff to... I'm sorry.
No problem.
Yes. Juicy, Kelly, California. And Charles Webb, filmmaker of The G-String Horror, premiering December 5th at the Roxy at 9 o'clock in the Another Hole in the Head Film Festival.